beep, beep. What is up, ninjas? My name is Sam World, and today we're going to be tackling a heavily requested tutorial that I've been putting off for a while, and that is how to make your own kick drum. So now for this, guys, we're going to be utilizing two instances of SERUM, a bit of processing in order to make a kick that we can be proud of and we can put on our track and show to our friends. If we break down a kick into its simplest form, guys, essentially you're going to need the transient and the body of the kick. The transient is usually going to be like a p, and you can also sample little hits or add little organic sounds into the mix if you want to. However, for this, we're going to keep it simple and just synthesize a click for ourselves. The next thing is the body, which is usually going to consist of the low frequencies of the kick. This is where you're going to hear the boom of the kick. And for this, we're going to be utilizing a standard sine wave, triangle wave, whatever you feel will fit down there. With that being said, guys, if you want to support my channel, you can head over to evilsounds.com to find all my sound design work. And let's get straight into making some kick drums. If the camera dies, I'll make sure to cut the video feed, guys. But for now, it seems to be alive for a good amount of time. All right, guys, and welcome inside of Ableton. So the first thing we're going to get to work is on the beginning of the kick is going to be the transient. Now, the transient is usually going to be punchy, and it's going to be at the start of the kick, and then the low end of the kick is going to kick in. So in order to do this, we're going to have here, and we're just going to set it up. No sustain, some decay. To kind of where we get it to where we like it, and then from there we can fine tune. Now I'm going to go with a sine wave, maybe an analog BD sine, and start from there. Here, let's see, let's get it to where we want it, maybe -1. And then we're going to add sort of like this nice click to it. Let's do that. Alt shift click. R and fade. And it's time to design it. So we can do a lot. We can FM, we can do whatever we think we need to do to get a proper transient. And now from there, distort. From there, maybe I might decide to add like a top end, maybe a little click from here. Kind of like this one. That one has a bit ballsy. Okay, we can maybe try adding some low end that will stay there. There we go. And then from there, just, you know, any way you think you can process it, go for it. Maybe OTT. Let's low. Okay, increase high. We can increase this a bit. We don't want to lose that transient vibe. This might be pretty good, actually. And then maybe this guy. We can go with this, maybe add like another top end to it. Let's get rid of this. Oh, that one's sounding juicy. I think we got it. So we could probably start with this one and work our way. We might decide to get rid of this. So that way maybe we have that or that. But we can also get rid of low frequencies. That's another thing we can also do. So we're going to go with that. Let's EQ it. So we're going to get rid of some lows we don't need. And then from there, let's add maybe like a drum bus to dampen it a bit. So maybe it's not so like. Okay, let's put That might be a bit too much, but we never know. We might come back. Let's trim. So we aren't clipping. That already sounds like a kick if you think about it. Let's shorten it a bit. Okay. I think the only thing lacking is a bit more highs. Okay, from there, let's see if there's anything we can reduce on. So I'm gonna okay, so we're good there. Now let's work on the body of the kick, and then we're gonna process them together, treat them as a whole. So this is where you're gonna kind of pick the key of your kick. We can definitely move this around. Maybe there we can have a G, and on the body of the kick, we can maybe go with like a D, which is the perfect fifth. And we're just gonna go from there. So let's lower this to 3. Okay, of course, we're gonna go with the standard analog BD sine from there, and then we're just gonna shape it with this guy here. We're gonna add a filter, of course, to get rid of some of those. Okay. Maybe around. Okay. We can always mess around more here, and we'll probably come back to it if the kick doesn't sound right from the get-go. So let's see. This one, -2. That's gonna give it more rounded to it. Let's. Maybe a square. We'll try it there and see what happens, okay? So once we have the low end, we can bring them together in a bus, call it the kick. And now we can start to process. Now, I'm not liking that square that was added. Now let's loop it. And let's start to process this. So we did have a drum bus here. We might choose to add it again just to see if we can compress this together a bit more. You can see now we can hear that low end, which is a bit too low for my taste. So let's bring it up a bit. That seems a little better. We don't want this sounding like a big room kick. Let's ease up on. We're going to move this so to make room for that transient. If you remember, we have. Okay. From there, let's see what else we can do. So we got our transient running through a drum bus here. Let's maybe dampen it. All right, let's bring this up. The way we're going to do this is with an L2, and we're also going to EQ from here. So let's just bring this up a bit. There's a frequency popping out I'm not liking. Okay, awesome. From here, let's add another EQ at the end. And it's time to like just start shaping the kick to the way we want it to look like. So we're going to bring up. We might choose to maybe run it through some stuff. Like decapitator always seems to be a good choice. So maybe let's try it afterwards. So we did gain stage down. All right, let's bounce it down. We need to use it in a setting to kind of see what it's lacking. And from there, we can kind of decide what we've changed. So we're going to resample here. Let's put this into a 4-bar loop so we can actually see it forming. And then just hit. All right, so the balance seems about right. You don't see like the transient sticking out like a sore thumb on it. From there, let's just grab it, put it here. And we're gonna see if we're gonna put some loops on and see what happens. All right, guys. So what I've done now is I've grabbed the kick, which is right here, and I've put it over here. Now all I've done is I've increased the volume on it like so that way it looks like so, and then I've added it here. I've put a master on the channel, of course, with isotope and T-Rex. Now, you got to keep in mind that when you're making kicks and whatnot, you cannot expect it to sound super identical to a mastered track. That's just a sad thing. A lot of these kicks, if you sample them from tracks, they're going to be already mastered, so that's why they sound good. But the key of a kick is that you should be able to put it in a song, or like so, have a master on it, and have it sound exactly the same. Now, with the kick that we've made, this is the way it sounds like. So I do have some loops running, as you guys can see. And like I said, all we did to the kick was just boosted it up. And this is the result. That's a kick right there that we have made, and hopefully people sample it as well. Now, as you can see, the kick sounds different in the track environment with the master and all that. That's the key thing, guys, that a lot of times you're going to hear these kicks in tracks, and you're going to be like, why does theirs sound like that when I make these? Yeah, keep in mind, you got to put it in the right setting. Okay, now, what can we do from here? Well, let's say we have the kick now. What can we do? Well, first thing is we can actually transpose it down if you want. So we get a lower response from it. If we put -3, now it's exactly in D minor. It's going to give it a little bit of a different taste and a kick pitch down. Never sounds good, but we can also try it. And that's going to give us that vibe right there. Let's put it like so. Very like friendly kick, honestly. It sounds great. Now from there, I mean, once you process the kick down to this level, you can still go and do more stuff to it if you want. For instance, let's say you want, for some reason, let's bring this. You think it has too much highs, of course. You lower that down so you get more of a garage style of kick. And then you can definitely do the Fisher. Okay. All right, guys, and with that, we've made a kick. As long as you remember that a kick is made by a transient and the body, a sub, you should do fine. Some of the more difficult things I think you guys will run into is the leveling of the kick and the bass. That is just going to be a lot of trial and error. The processing, you're not always going to process like this. You can use other things to process the kick drum. This is just something I did on the spot. But honestly, when it comes to kicks, it's trial and error until you find a style that you like. From here, if you want to make the kick more unique, you can try to introduce other things. Instead of synthesizing, let's say, the transient, you could maybe synthesize and then add a different vibe to it, like maybe applying a sound like that and then getting the click of that, putting it together. It's all in the click. That is how you get unique kicks. It's all in the transient. The transient is what's going to be the part that you essentially listen to more, and the body of the kick will come from a sub that you can distort more if you want. You can make it longer and distort the crap and make a big one kick. But ideally, at the end of the day, it's all the same process. It's just different variations. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this helps, and I'll catch you guys next time. You guys take care, and if you want to support my channel, you can head over to evilsounds.com.